Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the October 4th San Dimas Rotary Club meeting. My name is Steve Scott. I am the president of the club. I have been a member for about 14 years now. This is my third time as president, and excited to be here. We have another wonderful guest speaker who we'll introduce in just a moment. Before we do that, let's go ahead and go around the spokes of the wheel. Margarita, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Margarita Karasik McGee, and I'm a local estate planning attorney here in San Dimas. Also a Rotarian, and a bunch of other things in San Dimas.
Yes, you are quite busy. And with people like Raymond and I in the club, always a good thing to have an attorney close by.
Absolutely.
Sylvia, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sylvia Melendez. I'm the CEO here at the San Dimas Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a Rotarian. Very proud to be it. And also, we are gearing up for our annual event, the San Dimas Wine and Beer Walk. It's this weekend from 5 to 8 in downtown San Dimas. So join us if you can. Thank you.
Excellent. Looking forward to that. Thanks, Sylvia. And Raymond.
Hey, good afternoon. Raymond Foster, immediate past president of the Rotary Club of San Dimas. Extraordinarily tired. We had our food drive over the weekend, which required us to gather up the food on Friday. And then we shipped it out and took it out to the base on Monday. So pretty tired, but glad to be here. And Diva just popped in.
Yeah. Fantastic. We'll wait for her to jump on. And Raymond, how many tons of food did you say we donated?
We got this time put up here, and we got over 3 tons of food. That is outside the Masonic Lodge at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, just before the truck arrives for shipment. That is the truck being unloaded at 29 Palms by some Marines and volunteers. And you see Rotarian Mike Wallace, who is apparently supervising right in that photograph. Again, that's 29 Palms. The big truck with the Marines, and there's the Marines going through stuff and giving us a hand getting it out. And finally, that's all of our unloading volunteers. Quite a few people from Holy Name of Mary helping us out, along with all those Marines. Very pleased to get that food. So it was a good event.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. Like you said, Rotary continues to do good work, so that's awesome to see. And Diva, I know you're on mute, but can you unmute yourself and say hello to everyone?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, hello, Diva Foro, 4.5-year Rotarian, 5-year Rotarian. Happy to be here. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
That's all right. Happy you can make it. I know you're busy right now. Okay, after our speaker speaks, if anybody else jumps in, we'll give them an opportunity to say hello to everyone. In the meantime, I'm very happy to introduce our speaker today, Alecia Hedge. She is the regional manager of events at GO2 for lung cancer. Alecia, we've been very much looking forward to you spend a little time talking to us. Feel free to go ahead and start your presentation. If you need to share a screen, Raymond can take care of that. And when you're finished, we'll have some questions for you, I'm sure.
Guys, I appreciate you having me. I'll share my screen in a second. I have a presentation just to give you a little bit more background on GO2. But beforehand, I always like to just kind of share my personal story about how I came to the organization, because I think it's important and it's relevant to our discussions. So first of all, I live in Southern California. I'm in Orange County, and my mom was diagnosed in the spring of 2020, in April of 2020, with stage 4 lung cancer as a never smoker. I always tell people spring of 2020 was not a good time to be diagnosed with anything, but especially lung cancer. It was just the kind of a difficult time for everybody, and especially her. But we found shortly after she was diagnosed, there was an ambassador from GO2 who just happened to post in a community Facebook page next to me that her story and her journey, and she was diagnosed at 24 with stage 4 as a never smoker. And she's currently doing great. She still lives in the area. She has 2 twin daughters, but she shared her story, and she was really helpful for me and my family to get my mom the care she needs. She gave us some good guidance, some good recommendations, some good suggestions for care. And my mom was, at the time in April 2020, she was given 6 months to 2 years, and it's now almost 3.5 years later, and she's still doing really well. And that is because they live in Reno, and it's because she went and looked for specialized care. She was able to get biomarker testing, and she is being treated at UC Davis, and that is why she's here today. So I worked for another nonprofit in the community, and so I'm fairly new to the organization, but I followed them since 2020. So I came to join GO2 in June, and it's why I followed the organization. I believed in it. It literally gave my mom a lot longer than she would have normally had, I believe. And that's why I truly believe in it. And that's why I'm working here today. So that's just a little bit about my background and kind of why I went to GO2. And ever since I've been here, I really found everybody is very mission focused. A lot of people at the organization have a personal connection. So we all truly believe in what we do, and really try to keep it a patient-centered organization. So I reached out to the Rotary a few months ago because we have a walk run in San Dimas next weekend on October 14th. It is our 12th annual SoCal walk run. But I believe it's going to be our second in San Dimas, maybe third. I apologize. There was a break in there, obviously, because of COVID. But it's at Frank Bonelli Park. We love the park. Our participants love the park. It's beautiful. And so that's kind of how I came to reaching out to the Rotary as an option. We actually have a participant who's very active, and she's a young mom. She's in her 30s. She was diagnosed with stage 4 as a never smoker. And she's very active in the community and really kind of sharing her message. So that's a quick intro. And now I'm just going to share my screen so you can just see a little bit about, the organization. I always share my screen in Teams, but not normally in Zoom. I apologize. Anybody want to holler of where that's at? Oh, right here, right in front of me. I got it. Okay. Okay, can you all see the slide?
Yes, the slideshow's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so just quick intro. I already gave you. So GO2, we are a nationwide organization. We have 2 offices, one in Northern California, one in Washington, D.C. We actually merged. It was 2 lung cancer organizations who merged about 5 years ago. And I'm not going to go through every slide. I don't want to bore you with it. I know Raymond was great at sending some basic background on GO2. I just kind of want to give you an overview and then highlight a couple of the big things that we're working on, which we're really excited about. So we've been around for 28 years. Like I said, two organizations merged a few years ago, and we have 215,000 members strong, a lot of followers, and our core values are basically patient first. We are value being credible, being community centric, being reliable. We really try to keep our patients at the center of everything we do. And we also, just in case you hear this or see this, we consider anybody who has received a lung cancer diagnosis as a survivor. So that is who we are here for. Our primary goals are to increase the rate of lung cancer diagnosis. That is through things like promoting awareness for lung cancer. Again, one of the things that you will hear a lot of our survivors say is anybody with lungs can get lung cancer. There is a stigma out there that this is a smoker's disease, and that is just not the case. If you have lungs, you can get lung cancer, unfortunately. 80% of the people who are diagnosed today are either former or never smokers. And that's a really staggering statistic. One of our other primary goals, and again, this is the one I kind of touched on in my intro, is that we want to increase the rate of comprehensive biomarker testing. That is really a huge player in lung cancer survival rates, increasing reach and impact in the community and improving quality of life. So again, patients being kind of at the center of our journey, we really try to, for example, with these events that we do, and that's where I come in. If I have any lung cancer survivors register, it's an immediate call, letting them know about our patient services, letting them know about our lung cancer living room for education, seeing if I can connect them with other survivors. That is always the primary focus of what we do. One of the real big reasons and things that we focus on is research and advocacy. So I'm going to talk about two of those. One is research, which is one of the things that we just published. It's very exciting, is our inherent research study. And I'm looking at some notes here because I'm going to mess it up. I'm not a scientist. We have a science board, which they're amazing and incredible. So our inherent research study, we just published and we're continuing. We're just in the first phases of that, but it's fundamental work to give insight into lung cancer diagnosis and why some families are at higher risk for lung cancer. There is a specific genetic mutation associated with the EGFR gene. And so this study is all about trying to understand what that inherent risk is and being able to collaborate with other organizations, centers of excellence, medical providers to do this research and really make a big difference in those impacted with the disease. And shifting the culture, as I mentioned, anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. There's a big stigma out there. And unfortunately, the stigma is really what's crippling lung cancer survival rates. While lung cancer is the leading cause of death of all cancers, that's more than prostate, ovarian, and breast cancer, it gets the least amount of funding from Congress. So that's making a big difference on what our survival rates are. Lung cancer has stayed below the 5-year survival rate for the last 40 years. And that has led to a small increase, and that's because of the small increase in funding. You see a huge shift in breast cancer survival rates, ovarian survival rates, prostate survival rates, and that's because they're just getting more funding. So one of the things that we work on is our advocacy group is really trying to shift the culture, shift the awareness, and help bring attention to the disease and hopefully result in making actions in Washington that will affect our community. Just some stats and figures here, and I'm happy to share some of these with you so you can take time to read them offline if you're interested. One of the other things I did want to mention, because I know you guys are huge with the veteran and the military families, we just started this year a new collaboration. It was actually because of our partnership with a doctor in Northern California. She worked at the Palo Alto VA, and she was an event chair at our San Francisco event a couple of weeks ago. So all our military families, if you're active military or veteran, can all come to our events complimentary. We have a complimentary service charge because we're really trying to increase awareness about our organization in military and with military families. There is a 70% higher incidence of lung cancer in veterans. So that's something, again, why we're just kind of taking that action and trying to share the information about our organization with veterans so they know once they come to our events or hear about us, all of the hopeful support and services that we can provide them. That is the end of my screen. I am going to stop sharing. I know I kind of gave you a lot of quick information there. So again, why I wanted to reach out to San Dimas Rotary is, again, just to let you know who we are, that we have this event in your community every year. So our event sponsors, currently we have Dr. Salgia, so from City of Hope, who sponsors the event every year. And we have a wonderful team from USC. They're super supportive, who come out. We have 2 doctors there who come out and support the event. And then of course we have a couple of national sponsors, but we do have some local sponsors in the community who come out and support. What we also love to have from the community is, number one, awareness, just letting the community out there know what the event is, who we are. This is meant to be, our events are twofold. Number one, it's for survivors and families to come together, to see one another, to know they're not alone, to have that resource. As I mentioned, Unfortunately, it's this event for some reason, Southern California. Unfortunately, I have a handful of young women who are survivors under the age of 40 who are all coming to this event. So it's a nice opportunity for them to get together, to talk, to understand, to have that camaraderie with one another, to know that they're not alone. And so that's one purpose of the event. So it's just getting information out there, letting the community know about the event. And then of course we do fundraising at these events for all of our platforms that I mentioned, our research, our patient services. We have a phone buddy program where new survivors can call in and talk to another survivor for guidance, for suggestions. Our patient services team is there to help new survivors who are recently diagnosed just find good services, let them know if they're not getting the services they need in their community, maybe suggestions. Local communities, we partner with hospitals that have good services that may have biomarker testing and things of that nature. So those are part of the reasons why I contacted you guys and reached out to San Dimas. I would like to just help, like some help just promoting the event, letting the people in the community know we're there. Any partnership opportunities you have. Our event is next weekend, so it's obviously getting close for this year, but we're going to be here next year as well. We're not going anywhere. We love the Frank Bonelli Park. It was my first time going there a couple of weeks ago, and it's just beautiful. It's really nice. It's a wonderful venue. So that's a little overview. Does anybody have any questions? Did I go too fast? Anything I missed?
Oh, you didn't go too. That was awesome. Thank you so much. A couple things. Number one, thanks to Raymond, we have a pretty heavy social media presence. So we'll make sure Raymond gets, if you provide him with the information on the event and the time and all that, we can get that out to our 10,000 plus Twitter followers.
Wonderful.
I don't know, 1,000 Facebook friends. The numbers are pretty big. So we'll definitely do that. And yeah, it's probably too quick in terms of us getting super involved this year, but love to touch base with you next year, a little earlier in the year, so we can see what the Rotary Club can do to help, because it's certainly a worthwhile cause. Between
Yeah,
that
and I
and
also did
Sylvia's
want to
relationship with
mention,
the chamber.
I would love to send the information for Raymond, and I will include the information about our veterans. I have a social shareable I can send you, just keep it easy. Also, of course, if anybody wants to come out, I'd be happy to just extend you a complimentary registration so you can come out, see the event, see the people that come, see what we're all about. So I'd be happy to send you that information as well and extend that opportunity.
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much. I do have a question, and I know, as you said, you're not a scientist, but can you just explain a little bit more about biomarkers, kind of what they are?
I can try.
Okay.
So I'll explain it from my personal experience with my mom than from a scientific one, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So when you're diagnosed, if you know anybody who's diagnosed with cancer, if you're going to a general oncologist, for example, and you receive a lung cancer diagnosis, they're just automatically going to treat you with chemo or radiation. And that is just in the attempt to reduce the impact of the tumors or growth. So, but when you have a biomarker testing, it's looking at the specific genes, the specifics of that tumor and that growth and that disease. And so, for example, biomarker testing for there's 2 gene mutations, and the drugs that have been developed to attack those specific gene mutations. So EGFR is one big gene mutation in lung cancer that you'll hear about. And then there's an ALK gene mutation. And there's a specific targeted therapy that will work better for those gene mutations. So for example, my mom is an EGFR gene mutation, and there's a specific chemotherapy, Tagrisso, that attacks and works better with that gene mutation. So that gives you a longer life and just works, frankly, better for treatment and extending life.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate that answer. Anybody else have any questions? Margarita.
In your opinion, would you say that the reason it's so low in funding is because it is assumed that majority of the people that have lung cancer received it from smoking?
Yes, that is the assumption. And it's really a shame, because like I said, even before, this is again my personal opinion, not necessarily one of the organization, but and my mom didn't want to tell people she had lung cancer. When she tells them, they're like, "Oh, you smoked?" No, I didn't smoke. And even if I did, it's not your business. If somebody goes into the hospital for, with cardiac arrest, they're not going to say, what did you eat the night before? Were you having a high fat diet? It's not a question when you're talking about heart disease and how you're treating those. People don't ask, is this inherent or is this because of lifestyle? It's not asked. So why it doesn't matter with lung cancer, I don't know. I have no idea. But it seems to, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a shame. Any other questions? Well, Lisa, thank you very much again for your. We have somebody jump in.
Just
Go
very
ahead,
quickly,
Sylvia.
a great presentation, and we'll make sure to share the information as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. That extends the reach with the chamber. That's very good. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the work that you do, that your organization does. As the father of a cancer survivor, as the husband of a cancer survivor, while not lung, organizations like yours are incredibly important. And so really, really appreciative of your time and your effort. We're going to move on to the next part of our meeting. If you want to stick around, you are more than welcome to, but you are not obligated to. So if you need to have things to do.
I have an event in a week and a half, so
that's right. Yeah, get back to work.
I will follow up and send you the information about the event. I'm going to send you a promo code just in case anybody wants to come, and then I'm going to send you the information to share with your community.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks again.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, moving on. There is somebody, and all I see on the screen is iPhone. Do we know who that is?
That's Mike.
Oh, hey, Mike. How are you? Want to
Hey.
introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Mike Wallace. I've been here for 8.5 years, and I was driving when the meeting started.
All right, glad you're here. Thanks very much. There he is. And moving on, our fine master appears not to be here. Raymond, what do you think? Should we offer fines or skip it?
Well, I always want to take people's money, so we certainly.
Right. Well, in the San Dimas Rotary, we fine people a little differently. Basically, we fine you to talk. You can complain about something. You can talk about something good going on in your life. So if anybody would like to fine themselves, now would be the time to do so. Okay.
I'm gonna fine myself $10 because I've been having a lot of technical difficulties with my webcam and Zoom and audio and everything. So I tried to log in, wasn't working, so I'm staying on the iPhone. But yeah, $10 for technology not doing what technology is supposed to do.
Perfect. Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you very much. Moving on to the Action 360. Raymond, what do we have going on?
Well, Steve, Mike's finding himself $10 for having difficulties with technology, and yet
here we go.
Somebody has been unable to get their webcam to work for going on 90 days, I think, 3 months.
I've given up. I don't know what to do. It works sometimes, other times it doesn't. I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
Don't you
Perhaps it's because I'm so unattractive that I'm just better off not being on camera.
Don't you know a 12-year-old that could give you a hand and get you straightened out? Okay, Action 360. Well, we have a whole lot going on. Let me bring the calendar up real quick. First off, let's go over. We did talk briefly about the food drive. It was very successful. At least 3 tons of food, I believe, Mike. You were out there with Dom for the whole delivery thing. I was unable to stay for that. How did it go out there, brother?
It went well. We had lunch with the Marines who helped us unload all of the food up there, with Patrick and his staff and some people from the base. Yeah, it went really well. Ironically, I feel like it took us almost the exact amount of time to load it up as it took them to unload it. It's one of those things, you get that giant truck out there and it makes the food look so small. But it just kept coming out of the truck, and I thought that we were pretty much done, and I don't even think we were halfway done unloading. So they were all very impressed, very happy, and I think with what we gathered, donated, and took up the hill, I don't see any way that they don't make it, with shelves stocked up through March when we do our big drive next year.
I would agree with you. We had all kinds of hitches on Monday, especially. Well, it rained on us on Saturday with the collection day, and I know that Rita, that was your first time, and you were there with us all day. What was your experience like?
It was fine. Some downtime was nice, and when it got busy, I believe it was that individual from Chino with what are they again? Were they Mormons? When they showed up, that food never stopped coming. For some reason, it was just I don't know how he stacked up that car with so much food the very first round. It just kept coming and coming and coming. So that was fun. It was a good experience. I'll do it again.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you're out there. We had all kinds of hitches on Monday. The truck crashed into a tree at the lodge, knocking a tree limb off. And we had trouble getting on the base, and we had but we've done it before, so it went smoothly. And we'll fix some of the minor problems that we have, I think, for next time.
And for the record, I know this meeting is being recorded. We did clean up our mess of the tree branch that was knocked down, and perhaps the city of San Dimas may want to consider trimming the tree, as it does belong to them, and a giant big rig cannot fit under that tree.
I'm going to tell you, Mike, I went back and I took my chainsaw and I cut the limb up and actually completely disposed of it. So it has been completely disposed of. If you have a chainsaw involved, it was a little bit bigger than that. At any rate, hey, did you see who joined us, Steve? Look at that. I think it's either Sean Casey or Mr. Clean from the 1970s commercials.
Sean Casey, how are you?
Man, I tell you what, this new gig is keeping me busy. I told Raymond a couple weeks ago I would be here, and I just now made it. So yeah, I've been learning as I go. We've had some things that have taken place, so it's good to be back and see everybody.
Yeah, we're happy you're here. By the way, in your absence, we elected you the next president. Sorry.
Thanks. Yeah.
Moving on with Action 360, Steve, the next thing up is the Marine Corps dinner taking place on the November 10th, which provides Christmas gifts for enlisted families at Pendleton and 29 Palms. I just was on the phone today with our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is First Sergeant Ben Holmes. Ben lost a leg and an arm in Afghanistan to an IED, and he is going to, part of what we will do is be providing him with an honorarium of $1,000, which will go to build a house for another, especially adapted house for another Marine who is a triple amputee from a similar war injury. So he will be a dynamic speaker. And I will tell you that, as I told Steve earlier, we have a month still, but we're about $7,000 shy so far. And of course, I'm in high gear working on that. So if you have not got your ticket yet, get your ticket. They are $50. If you're going to sponsor, let me know, because I need sponsors. We need to make that gap up, but it's going to be a great event. And then lastly, Steve, I think the next thing that we need to start really thinking about is teacher mini grants. That is right around the corner.
Yes, teacher mini grants. As a matter of fact, I will start working on the letters and the applications, just getting the dates and everything updated next week. Again, we usually send them out first week of November. And they have to be, the second week of November, and we request that they are returned prior to when teachers go on winter break. So Sean, I'll work with you, and you probably know somebody at the district who I can send an application to, and they can then distribute to all the teachers, or at least the principals?
Well, so in my position and role now, yeah, I could actually do that, and I have no problem in getting it out to our schools. And
Awesome.
just reminding them, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I'll make sure and get that to you next week. And then we can start distributing from there. Okay, again, Sylvia, the beer and wine walk is this Saturday, is that correct?
This Saturday, yes.
Okay, so if you can
Absolutely.
make it, it's a great time. We've been there in the past. It's a lot of fun. I have an event to be at during the day, but I'm going to try to sneak away in time to get there for the evening.
Absolutely. Here it is.
There it is, October 7th, 5 to 8.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Raymond, you want to put up the calendar, our very, very busy calendar?
So tonight it will be Technical Sergeant Emerald Seri from the California Air National Guard who is speaking on she's the Family Readiness Coordinator. She's one of our new contacts, so she'll be talking to Satellite Club. Next week is a board meeting. The committee, 2026 committee is meeting after that. And then we have coming up on the 18th, Brian Smith is a speaker and he has a SMART goals thing. He's if you look at his bio, he's a pretty connected, pretty great speaker. So it should be interesting. It's about business. And then the 18th is the prison outreach for veterans. So we have meetings, we have speakers all the way through January. And of course, the big deal is December 6th for our noon club meeting, because that's our governor's visit. So that's our calendar, Steve.
Thanks very much. And Mr. Wallace, if you're still there, love for you to talk about the four-way test a little bit. Hello, Mike.
He may be having difficulties.
Well, that's why he find himself. So, all right. So we'll just talk about the four-way test. As you can see, this test was created in 1932 by a Rotarian. Basically throws four questions you should ask yourself before making a decision, before electing to move forward or move away from something. And how it goes is this: of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? If you can answer yes to all those questions, you're probably making the right decision. Okay, folks, thank you once again for taking time during, I'm sure, what is a very busy week for everybody. I look forward to seeing those of you back next week for our board meeting. And we're moving into holiday season, going to be a busy time for the club, busy time for individuals. If you can make time to make it to a meeting, we'd love to have you here. And we will see you next week.
Thank you.